Good morning, guys. And if it looks like I haven't had my coffee, I have a cheek mark on what I just did. It's because I haven't. I have a movie review here, and I've had it sitting on the desk for like over a week, and I know that the DVD, I know the DVD is due, so I'm just gonna do it. This is something I promised. Do you remember? No. The Balcony. A Jean Genet remake version of one of his plays, and I'd forgotten it was him, or maybe I wouldn't have watched it. The Balcony is recommended without reservation as hard-hitting cinematic art, says the New York Post. And I shall read the back jacket here. In a very special brothel known as the Balcony, the customers live out their wildest dreams, oblivious to a revolution that's going on outside. I'm not even going to read the rest of it. And according to Movies Unlimited, which is the reason I got it from the library in the first place, this is a fascinating version of Jean Genet's psycho-erotic play set in a fictional country where an accommodating brothel allows visitors act out elaborate fantasies of power and desire. With the nation embroiled in a revolution, the establishment's Madam Shelley Winters is approached by the chief of police, Peter Falk, to fill in for the vanished queen. Lee Grant, Peter Bracco, Rudy Dee, and Leonard Nimoy. 1963. And I have a list of all the other movies you could have watched that were made in 1963. Under the Yum Yum Tree, Shock Corridor, Fun in Acapulco, Elvis Presley, It's a Mad, 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 Mad World, The Nutty Professor, Cleopatra, From Russia with Love, The Haunting, Bye Bye Birdie, 8½, Charade, or is it Charade, Adam Age Vampire, The Great Escape, Operation Bikini, I believe that's the first Annette Funicello, Frank Avalon movie. It's Operation Bikini and Beach Party are two different movies, and Blood Feast. Well, let me give you my review of the movie. And again, I tell you, I literally just woke up and I haven't had my breakfast. Shelley's Brothel is a huge open soundstage containing various movable scenes. Girls are seated around with certain bizarre props like Tinker toys and a knight's helmet. I guess this is supposed to be wacky. First up is an Edward Horton lookalike who fancies himself a bishop, but in real life is a gas man. Haha. He keeps dropping character. And then, in a total ridiculous aside, Shelley discusses a necrophiliac client, saying he won't notice if there isn't a full complement of candles around the deceased's coffin. Then there's a general, whose girl is a horse. She's really pretty, and she has a lovely tail. She inexplicably spouts epic poetry about his death, in addition to obviously dove-whinnying, although she does a very good job of prancing and pawing. And also there's a judge, who tops from the bottom, in which, like, the only person of color in this cast of harlots is supposed to be a thief. And he keeps trying to tell her what to do. She's a miscreant, she's supposedly a thief, and he wants to lick her shoe, but he keeps telling her over and over again how he wants to be commanded. The music is by Stravinsky. It's distracting. I guess it's supposed to be comic, but it really screws everything up. And in the back of this whole brothel is a control room. It looks like a 1962 space control room where Shelley and what's her name? Daphne? Shelley and her lover, her second in command, can see everything on these terrible screens that obviously can't be a point of view. Well, the action does take place in an unnamed country undergoing a revolution. Periodic bomb noises, stock footage remind us of this. The plot involves these three Johns posing as authority figures to correct and to keep the legitimacy of the police during this revolution. The queen has fled and these three figures, the real ones, are dead. Peter Falk, he's pre-Columbo, but he's acting like Columbo. He sports a mustache, he's kind of greasy. He appears to be the inspiration for Brando's Godfather because he has this kind of mumbling, stumbling thing, and his coat doesn't fit right either. He is the paramour of Winters and proposes the scheme. Actually, first he wants her to play the queen, but she says, no, I have a better idea. Make these three guys do it, and they kind of are blackmailed into it. So I fell asleep during the first movie, and first viewing of this, and I actually missed the Leonard Nimoy part, which fairly goes on. It turns out he's the hunky head of the revolutionaries. You first see him on one of these fake screens, like bare-chested, all hairy, in a cage, kind of looking like Charlton Heston. Well, it turns out that his secret fantasy is to be the chief of police. And we find this later on when Daphne, who really, really wants to go back to being a working girl instead of the second in command, plays out on this kind of Star Trek-y kind of Rocky Mountain set, and she's like dressed in something diaphanous. And then suddenly Leonard Nimoy's wearing the chief of police uniform. Yeah, well, there were a few throwaway funny bits. There's a great a goat bleeding off stage, but it's strained. It's not funny. It's supposed to be sardonic. It's not. Winters has a semi-obvious lesbian relationship with her assistant Carmen. So the bishop, judge, and general do an extensive drive. It's obviously done with the back screen through the ruins, only to make these painful, horrible speeches before a stock footage crowd. The general's speeches, no, Peter Falk does a great speech. He talks about manure. That's so surreal. You could use that clip for I don't know what. So, at the end, Falk and Nimoy, who were in this last stage, are forced to strip by the girls and end up in Turkish towels, fleeing in the rubble. And the final shot is Shelley. She's like standing there and she's talking to the audience. She addresses the fourth wall and she says like, go home now where the action is totally fake too. All I can say of that is Jean Genet, and I wouldn't bother watching it. Unless you can find a clip of that Peter Falk speech, which was actually great because it was Trumpish. Have a good day.